Simone Biles today. She withdrew from the Olympics, and the team came in second place. She cited mental health issues. In her press conference, she said basically, well, they had like a 5 hour kind of break. She felt like she wasn't centered. She did like two moves on the course, whatever it is, on the floor. She didn't feel right. She walked over to her trainer and withdrew herself, hugged her teammates goodbye, and as a result, the women came in with the silver medal. She's being praised universally for her courage, for taking care of her mental health first.
Wait, Simone Biles, that's the one that was like
The greatest.
whole
That's the gymnast.
That's the gymnast of all
The
time.
gymnast.
Yeah.
So she had the whole docuseries set up so that they could do everything and follow her,
And
see if
she-
she could like compete against herself.
Yeah, and she withdrew.
Was it? Did she say anything? Like, was it like the pressure or something that might be going on?
She said that she felt like the pressure, the weight of the world has been on her shoulders, basically. She's felt the pressure, and that she was worried she would injure herself if her head wasn't in the right space. Now,
that's totally valid.
see, for me, I
It's
think
like, just don't show up that day. But I guess you never know how you're gonna feel. But I would just say don't show up that day so that.
But that's the only day though.
Athletes could have been there though if she knew.
Well, someone was, because the gymnastics team is like multiple people. Her competitions were about 4 people, and another woman whose name is in the article, not in the article, but articles I did read. I didn't send the articles. She did step up. Now, granted, she was not fully prepared to participate in those things, so maybe she could have injured herself, but she didn't. She stepped up. They came in second place. They got the silver. They had been the shoo-ins for the gold. 2 days earlier, the Russians had beat them in the first round, and all of a sudden, it wasn't a sure thing. So now that there was adversity and there was a question as to whether or not there was going to be a gold for America again, then the pressure started weighing on her, and she left mid-competition with about an hour and a half left to compete.
It's kind of crappy to leave your team behind so that they lose and you don't. Your record's not ruined. But if she's saying it's mental health, who can say anything against mental health? You know what I mean? I don't know.
Exactly.
I think you know when you're feeling kind of off. But also, like, I can't speak for how she feels, the pressures. I have no talent. The most I've ever done is lift a hot dog. But if you're already there, and this is your whole career,
only her
being an
teammates can
athlete
really
under
make that
pressure,
judgment.
like,
because her
it's up to
teammates are the
her
ones that
or her
know if she
coach.
left because of the pressure of the mental health, or because she thought
Don't you
that
think
she
she's about to
wasn't
have like a
going to win.
fucking breakdown? Like, get out of there.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're no
Somebody
good
else
at
should
anyone,
like
but
notice this sooner to like get her.
Well, that's another thing. It's kind of like, did you know this going in? Because apparently she was unhappy, rightfully so. She doesn't want to be associated with USA Gymnastics anymore because of how they handled that piece of shit sexual abuser doctor that abused her and numerous other people over the years and in the last Olympics. She was upset that they postponed it. I'm not saying she was upset because of COVID, because I'm sure she wasn't. I'm sure she understood that. But she was just personally bothered by the fact that her association with the U.S. Gymnastics would have to continue one more year. So it seems as if this would have been her last Olympics anyway.
Okay.
But again, she still has her endorsements. She still showed up for the Olympics. She still took that spot away from someone else in the team. And she was there, and she was in mid-competition. And the other teammates, when you see her hugging them, like, they're supportive of her, but they're like, fuck, the greatest gymnast of all time just left.
Also, anyone that has to go after her is fucked too from the stress and the disruption.
And they did. And granted, they weren't a shoo-in anymore for gold. So maybe she competes, they get the gold. Maybe they don't. Maybe they get the bronze. Maybe they get the silver. We'll never know that. But I think, I don't know. I want to, especially if anything has, like, maybe she saw that piece of shit asshole, because I think he's still working with the fencing team from what I saw. If she saw him and all of it came back, I get that.
Yeah.
If it was just the fact that, like, oh God, I'm not a shoo-in anymore, I'm not having my best day, I'm sorry. Like,
Also, if that guy's still working, that is pretty ridiculous.
It's
but
not
like,
to say that it wasn't the guy that was bothering her, but if it was, wouldn't you think that she would have
That's something.
left sooner?
well, I don't think he would be there because it's fencing. It's a completely different thing. He wouldn't have been there.
He is.
But I don't know. Like that's your team. Like,
I'm very torn because as a player myself, like, either you show up or you don't. You just don't.
That's
walk
kind of
off
my
the
mentality
field,
for
like
things, yeah.
halfway through it and leave everyone high and dry. However, I get it. You're trying to take care of yourself, and I'm happy that she still did it, despite whatever repercussions may come about later down the line from like social media.
Maybe
but
later on she'll say exactly what it was, and
Yeah.
we'll be like, "Oh shit, your best friend died or something." But like I kind of think of things like
you should know this before you get out there.
I mean, sometimes it will just
for
hit you if you're
example-
battling depression, but like or
I get
illness,
that.
but
or like I don't know,
I agree
anxiety
with
or
Ashley,
anything like that.
though.
Like that can flare
Like
up
you
when
had Grease with Vanessa Hudgens. She found out like right before her performance that her dad died, and she still did the performance.
the
It's
show
like,
must go on.
Yes.
But
And
it's
it's
either
like-
like you're
That's kind
there
of-
and you're gonna do
that's
it or
kind
you're
of what
not.
that's kind of where I'm at with that, because of the fact that it's like, you just try your best, and no one is saying that you'll always be on your game when you need to be on your game.
Yeah.
Just small
But
wins
Like-
or
you just
something, I don't
you
know.
it,
But-
I would hope that the team mentality would be more important than that. It's like
but to
we all
offer,
go
like,
together and try our best, and we fail together or we win together.
and that's probably what the team is going to say, but I feel like, and I know this happens in sports. Let's say this was a different sport. Let's say this is the NBA, and a basketball player comes out, has a lousy game.
They're too
the team
emotional at
loses
the
it.
NBA.
Well, they
They'll never hear the
have
end of it. They'll just be a little clip on rewind forever. Maybe she didn't want to be a GIF.
right, but then it's going to be like, well, is that just an excuse for your terrible performance?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I just wasn't here mentally. It's like, no.
Well,
now
that's
you're
why I
just
said
giving
that
an excuse.
Ashley's idea of going at it before she was going out
Yeah.
there
Right.
would
Yeah.
have been the smartest thing, because then
Like dressing
know.
room, locker room, like saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
like I'm not in the right headspace. You
but I'm
do
gonna
this."
try my best, and I'm gonna do this with my team.
Yeah.
And whatever happens, happens.
But even
And-
then,
She could also probably talk to someone like and get the support of her team to get her in the right headspace. Sorry, I knocked my.
I mean, she talked to the
That's fine.
trainer, and it looks like they together decided it. Because if you watch the video, she looked kind of distraught. She didn't have a great dismount. People thought maybe she hurt her ankle, and
Yeah,
she
yeah, she-
immediately walked off. The trainer's arm around her. They had a brief conversation. She walks over her team and is like, "I'm done. Good luck. This is not my first Olympics."
Maybe there's like an injury there or something
Yeah, it
Well,
could
that
be
was
maybe
the,
she really felt
that
like
was
I
the
don't trust
report
him.
initially.
That was the
That was
important
the report
initially.
initially that she had an injury, and they probably should have just left it at that, because nobody's
Yeah.
gonna.
Well, she
question.
spoke up because she was literally
Right.
like,
Those ones just
I
like
had
she's
a-
injured.
like she
Lie to us.
literally was like, I had a long break, and I felt like I just wasn't there, so I couldn't do it. That's
No.
pretty much verbatim what she said,
You don't
like
let
that.
her talk though. You don't let her talk in that. moment.
Another
I-
moment
I-
where you
I
felt
give her-
like-
You don't let her
I
say
give-
things.
But I give her credit for speaking to the press, because a lot of stars, especially named the NBA or big players in like NFL,
absolutely.
they'll walk away, they'll leave, and they won't hold themselves accountable. So I give her props for that, even if it sounds less like on the level. I don't know. I mean, I kind of compare her to Jackie Robinson in the sense of, I mean, granted, for every no she hears now, she hears 100,000 yeses because she's made something for herself. But initially, especially in gymnastics, it's not a black girl's sport at all. Now, that's changed a little bit slowly over the decades, but she is the greatest of all time. Jackie Robinson faced endless verbal, emotional, mental, and physical abuse on the field. People were trying to injure him on the field. He went in the dugout, he went down the tunnel, he broke some bats, he screamed, he punched a wall, he went back on the field, and he became the first ever Rookie of the Year. And literally, people who can't name the first president of the United States know who Jackie Robinson is. They may not know his number, they may not know the team he was on, but they know he was the first black player in baseball. And I truly do believe that there is no I in team. Apparently, there's an M and an E. And if you're already in the middle of it, we've all been in situations and jobs that we're not getting paid millions of dollars to do. And we've all had bad mental days. And we said, it's literally 90 more minutes. Then I have years to work on myself. My team is depending on me. And I do think there's a shift in mentality where it's not about truth, it's about your truth. It's not about the other people around you. The goods of the many no longer outweigh the goods of the few or the one. Now the goods of the one outweigh the goods of the many, and you really can't say anything about it because then you look like a monster. And I don't know. I really do think she should have pushed through. Now, granted, like Bexa, you said, if something deeper comes out later, then I'll eat my fucking words, because it's something greater happened that she, to her credit,
But we
may
don't
not be.
know about.
She may not be saying
You
it now.
never know what's going on with a person,
Yeah.
what kind of text they might have gotten
Right,
or
right.
whatever.
Like Michael Phelps. We didn't know Michael Phelps was on the verge of killing himself when he won all the golds in history. He showed up, and granted, you know, that was a different time even. But I don't. Maybe she's not saying it fully because she doesn't want to take thunder away from her teammates. Credit to her if that's the case. She did stand up there and accept
Because it's also
the silver with
personal.
them. Yeah, she did get up there and accept the silver with them. She stood with her team. She was
Oh,
out
she
there
didn't just
rooting.
leave?
No, she was out there rooting
she
them
was
on
rooting for the team,
in a
yeah.
jumpsuit, and then she stood up there with the silver in her hand as well. So, exactly.
But just like leave.
I don't like
just
that.
leave. If you're having one of those days,
You-
like just leave because you
You
shouldn't be
walk
there
off.
anymore.
You
I don't
don't.
know.
You don't get
You're
to
gonna
stand
watch
there.
us get silver when you could have helped us get gold.
I'm sorry, but this is one of those
but
moments. I'm like,
she's
this is where
standing there
lying is
holding it.
great. Say you twisted your ankle, then
And
have someone
go.
twist your ankle, wear the thing, and just have a fucking twisted ankle. It's way easier.
Right.
Her
That's
mental
why I
health is
said,
not her business. Just
Yeah.
fucking lie to us.
Just let it.
These
Yeah,
are the
just
moments
let it
to
be
lie.
the injury. Just let it be the injury story.
all-
Leave it at that.
Yeah, president's in a
I-
wheelchair, prop him up, pretend he's not. Lie to America.
I wouldn't go as far
That's
as
what I want.
having someone twist your ankle. I would probably walk out with like an ankle wrap or something.
That's
Do
true,
the
yeah,
Lindsay limp. Do a little usual suspects Kaiser Soze on us. Do a little hoppity hop.